Hey, Edna Wilson here, your hometown realtor as Hometown's Apple Pie with this week's Education Corner. You know, I'm asked a lot, how many people does it take to buy a house? Or maybe screwing a light bulb, I don't know. But in some situations, most of the time it's 10 people. In my situation, it's always 11, and I'll tell you here's why. Number one, we have the seller. Then we have the seller's agent. We have the buyer, the buyer's agent, right? That's already 4 people, just before we even got started. Then after that, we have the transaction coordinator, the title company, the lender, the insurance company, the home inspector, the appraiser, and in my situation, the pie baker. That's right. But let's go through that real fast so you know who each and every person is. So of course you have the seller, the buyer. That's pretty obvious. And they have their agents. That's pretty obvious. In the state of Florida, you could actually have the same agent that represents the seller and the buyer. And what happens in that situation is that they just represent the transaction. And their job is to be fair, honest, cause no harm, and get you to the closing table. It's actually a sweet deal when that happens because communication is a lot better. But we have the transaction coordinator. That typically works for maybe the buyer's agent or the selling agent. That just helps you get all the pieces, you know, make sure all your dates are hit, make sure that you have the appraisal on time, things like that. Then we have the title company. The title company's number one job is to make sure that you get a clean title at closing, which means that there's nothing on the title, so Uncle Joe's not going to come back and say, hey, that property's really mine because in 1988 I inherited it. We don't want that happening, and it has happened. That's why you need a title company who has title insurance on your property. Then we have the lender. The lender plays a huge important part of this for the buyer and really for the seller, because it's the lender's job to get us to the closing table, make sure that we have all the things to satisfy underwriting, which basically underwriting is the people who say your loan's good. Then we have the home insurance company. That person is super important to give you a great quote, and not just a great quote, but also tell you what you're paying for, right? Because I've seen insurance policies that don't cover flood or don't cover if your house is exposed to a plumbing issue, or you need a good insurance agent that'll help you with that. And then of course the home inspector. I love our home inspectors we have here at Celebration Real Estate because they get us what the results we need and then tell us if the home has any major defaults that you need to be aware of as a buyer. And then lastly, the appraisal. The appraiser is super important. I kind of laugh and say the appraiser is kind of like God in this scenario because he or she is who develops exactly what that house should appraise for, and therefore the lender will lend on that house. Super important. And then of course the pie baker, because here at Edna Wilson LLC, we always give away pies at our closing. And so the pie baker is very important to us. So, hope that was educational. My name is Edna Wilson, your hometown realtor, as Hometown is Apple Pie.